This is Sterling from Day Trading Forex Live. Just wanted to get the pound yen here. I'm long on the pound yen from one spot 30.65 and sitting at 62 on the bid right now. But what we're seeing is we've seen the pound yen again cycle down into an area that was a pretty heavy intraday level. But looking at this from the perspective um, of generally what we're looking for when we're in what we term as a level 3 type accumulation, when they're accumulating orders, the safest option is always the stop run or the bottoming or topping formation at the the range high or the range low. And there's a little bit of a which normally doesn't come into too much to play when we're looking at manipulation, but I have as we talked about in the room today, I have more of a bias towards holding a yen cross long because the BOJ is talking about printing money, infusing money in the economy, and obviously that has a weakening effect on a currency. And given the fact that we've seen pretty solid push down here over well over 90 pips to the downside, and we're coming into the range low, actually about 130 pips, but we've seen three clear cycles lower today. We saw a first push down, saw a second push down, saw a third push down, and it was ending in a strong rejection. Now it's coming back to complete this bottoming formation. A lot of times we'll see it make at least a 50% retrace of that first leg in the bottoming formation. And so when we're seeing it make that retrace, that's why when we got down into the 60 area, high 50s, I was looking for the entry on long on the pound yen. It was something we were talking about in the room. If it did come back down and give that bottoming formation, would be a potential valid entry. So I'm taking again long on the pound yen from 65 here, and we'll see how this pans out. See if we can't get a some nice follow through off this bottoming formation after the three intraday cycles down. Looks like the move should be over. At the very least, they should pull it off these lows and make somewhat of a run back up towards that 3100 level at the very least. So we'll be back shortly with the conclusion of this video or an update on this video as soon as we have a bit more of a move off these lows. So we'll be back shortly. Alright guys, we're back. I just wanted to come back real quick and update this pound yen trade. Right now we're sitting at 131.04. Had the original entry of 130, 130.65, and with this trade, I'm going to be letting this one run a bit longer. We're expecting a little later on today for the monetary policy out of the BOJ. We're expecting further easing, or to mention further easing and mention what they're going to be doing. Any misstep as far as them not talking about further monetary easing, which is essentially injecting more money into the economy and devaluing their currency, as the U.S. and many other countries have been doing. Quantitative easing is often what you hear it called, or QE1, QE2. Well, if we don't hear more of that out of the BOJ, the Bank of Japan, then this trade's probably going to get stopped out at break even. At this point, I still have the 20 pip stop loss on it. The reason for that is because we may see more manipulation down. If smart money wants to get long, what do they have to do? This is the entire basis of manipulation. If they want to get long ahead of this news release, and manipulation before news is something that is very consistent. It's something that I'm covering actually in a article that's coming out probably today. And one thing I talk about is the fact that manipulation is very present before economic data because they know what it's going to be before it comes out. And so I expect them to manipulate down as they did today in expectation that the news is going to be yen negative and they're going to be buying everything versus the yen. Pound yen going up, euro yen, Aussie yen, CAD yen, whatever yen cross it is. I expect the yen to weaken versus whatever currency because they're going to be doing a little bit more easing. So in expectation of that, this is a trade I'll hold for a bit longer. If you zoom out to the 4-hour chart, it still looks like we're in a very wide range accumulation period. And because of that, because we've been sitting in this accumulation period, I at least expect them to run it back up to the highs. And that would be the first area I'd consider getting out. But until then, I will be holding this trade in expectation of it, at the very least, to test those highs. And those highs right now are sitting at 131.77, and that would offer up a nice trade, a little over 100 pips. And that's the baseline I'll be looking for on this trade. So we'll see what we get. We have news coming out shortly, and a couple hours, I believe. And we'll be back for that, see what it comes out as, and go from there. All right, guys, I'll see you in a little bit. Hey, everyone, we're back on the pound yen. This one ended up being a loss for me on the pound yen. It was, rather unfortunate under general circumstances. I would never let a trade that went that far in my profit or that far in profit for me come back and close me out at break even. But I just did not expect smart money to manipulate the price like they did. Obviously, the BOJ came out with further easing, and given that fact, obviously it's yen negative. With it being yen negative, they took out the stops, induced any further selling they could, and bought into that selling pressure. Immediately bought into that selling pressure. It was just rather unfortunate, but that's the way it goes sometimes. You can, in this case, as the training video I put out earlier, it did exactly what you want. Unfortunately, I wasn't here to catch the stop run after I was stopped out. Ended up taking me out on one last stop run. And unfortunately, again, I wasn't here watching it to trade that manipulation back to that point. Would have been a nice trade setup because, again, it's set up with exactly what you'll tend to see in and around news. That was one of the reasons why I had a pending long on the euro yen, and unfortunately, tells me this move was extremely fast. The broker I use generally almost always gets picked up with pendings, even around volatile times. And my order didn't get picked up. Chad had an order below this point. His order never got picked up. It's just rather unfortunate, but that's the way it goes sometimes on the pound yen. We have a lot of great manipulation opportunities. It doesn't mean we're going to win them all, and this is an example of a trade taking us out, even when it did pretty well exactly what we were expecting. Just one last stop run, which was throwing us the curveball on the pound yen. Didn't expect it on the pound yen. Thought it was a possibility on the euro yen because of the euro weakness, but the pound yen given that last large stop run, which got me out, and unfortunately wasn't sitting around watching this to be able to trade that stop run through those lows. With the BOJ, because they announce at different times, it makes it a little bit problematic, and just is the way it goes on this one. So we'll be back with the next video, guys. I hope the training that we put out today kind of illustrates exactly what we're seeing here, and I hope the point of it is something you carry forward with you in your own trading and spot those manipulation moves in and around news. Uh, you know, Tentative news, as the BOJ news is often marked as tentative, is a little bit more difficult because you don't have the time. You got to be sitting right there at the computer. But in general, a lot of great opportunities in and around those major economic news releases. Seeing the manipulation before the news often gives you a strong indication of the probable direction. So, hope it really helps. I hope this video helps as well. And I will see you guys with the next one. Happy trading.